And welcome back to the second part of this tutorial, guys. So I'm going to exit out now and just click on that. We also need to put together some lines of code for the movement so that we can move up and down. Now that is my raycast taken care of. Maybe I should even increase that a little bit to about 30, and because it's not that pronounced, what I've just done is, you see where we have a source image, I'm going to try that out. That's the source image. Yeah, let's try that. Yeah, that's the raycast. Now it seems a bit, you guys should be able to see it much better. Let's just see how that's gonna look like. Yeah, that is it. Look at it. You see that? Okay, I'm just gonna leave it like that for now. If I have to do any changes, I will do. Okay, now let's exit out, and I'm going to select the camera again, and that very camera I now want to add character controller on it. We do need a character controller because we intend to be able to move around. Now let's right click inside the project area again and click on create. We want to select C# and just give that a name. I'm going to call it movement. That is the movement right there. Click on open. Once it's opened, the next thing I want to do now is to declare a serialized field that I'm going to call move speed. Let's see that. Okay, I'm going to go in here and just copy. Let's copy this serialized field. Come right in here, paste that up here. Delete that very comment, paste, and I will call it move speed. Move speed, we make that about, let's say, it's going to be about 6, or yeah, 6 we do for now. We can always change that. That is one. And I would also need another one that I will call the jump speed. And paste that underneath there, then that will be jump. Or we can call it jump height. Okay, height. Okay, so let's say we'll be to jump only about 2. And what about gravity? Let's add gravity on it. Serialized field, we say gravity, and we make that about maybe 20. Alright. And what about the range? That will be the degree to which we can control our movement while we are in the air. So let's say we come down here and just say range, and that is going to be from 0 to 10, comma, and we enter the serialized field in there. Serialized field is going to be in air control. Let's say air control, and that's going to be about 5. Yeah, 5 we do. Okay, so get rid of this and get rid of this. Alright, looking good so far. Alright, the next thing I want to do now is to create a vector. This vector will be movement direction. Okay, our current movement direction. Okay, if we are to be on the ground, let's come in here and just say vector 3. That's a movement direction. So So it's going to be equals vector 3 dots, that is 0. So the whole idea for this is if we are to be on the ground where we have total control over it, or you can say direct control over it. Okay, let's put together a cache reference to the character controller. So we say character controller. No. Character controller, that will be called control. No, let's just call it control. There. And that is that. So we then come in here and say control or controller, that will be equals get component and that's going to be character control, enter parenthesis there. Right. So the next thing we now want to do, so when the system starts, this was going to happen. The controller will take over of the character controller. So let's come right in here and then create, we call that a fixed update. So let's say fixed update. So with the fixed update, what we're doing there is we do our movement in a logical order in the fixed update so that our movement can happen at the same time. Okay, so let's say variable input, that's going to be equals new vector 3, and the new vector 3 is going to take in the following. So let's go ahead and say input dot get access and that the first one is going to be horizontal. The horizontal is an inbuilt variable that you guys can use at any time, and the next one is going to be the vertical one. So let's say the horizontal is going to be the horizontal is there. Then we now need the y-axis to be 0 because it cannot move vertically. Then we now have another input get axis, that would be for the vertical. So I can paste that right underneath here. Input.get axis, I'm going to call that vertical. Yeah, that is that, and we can just close that there. These two inbuilt variable, if you guys go straight into our editor, you should be able to see them here. If you go into edit and select project setting, go into input manager, drop down the axis, that is it, horizontal and the vertical. Okay, those are the input variable, the inbuilt variable that I'm using. Alright, okay, I will now multiply the speed by our desired movement speed. So in there we just say input multiply equals move speed. Okay, now let's use an if statement. No, before that, let's say input, that will be equals transform dot transform direction, and that will be input. Now, using an if statement, we can say if controller dot is grounded. So in this case, if the controller is grounded, that is if the controller is at the bottommost, okay, we then want this, we want the movement direction. So come in here, let's say enter curly braces there, and we say movement direction, that will be equals input there. Now if the movement direction dots, let's say if input dot get the button, and if that happens to be jump, then what do we want the system to do? We also want the input that get direction as no, that will be movement direction dot y, because it's moving up, that will be math f dot, that will be square root 2 multiplied by the gravity, so that'll take it up, multiply that by the jump height. Jump height is somewhere up here, yeah, there we go, it's just 2, so that should give us the jump that we need. The system will jump up officially. Okay, else we want the following. Else the movement direction, that would be 0. Very good, the system has told me what to put, and I'm just going to accept that. That is good. Else, another else if. So we have one, another else. Else input dot y, that will be equals direction, move direction y, equals move direction y there. Then move direction, that's equals vector 3 dot left move direction, comma input, comma direct control, air control, that should be the air control, and we'll multiply that by time dot delta time. Time dot delta time, and enter parentheses there, enter a semicolon. Okay, that is taken care of. Next, we now want to say the move direction minus the gravity. So in this case, let's just grab hold of these. Move direction minus equals gravity, multiply that by time delta time, paste that there, enter semicolon. And the controller, in this case, let's say controller dot move, but move direction, no, that would be move direction. Undo that, undo, move direction, and multiply that by time dot delta time. There we go. And that is all there is to that. So let's have a good look at these lines of codes. Okay, let's have a good look at the lines of code just to make sure it's all right. And there guys, I think that will be all for this, so I'm going to save it. I think it's all fine for now. Okay, let's go straight into the editor. Right, there's compiling. So far there's no error. There, I think there's no error. So let's come back in here. That is the movement code in there. Let's make sure it is attached to the main camera. No, I'm going to drag it and dump it here. Okay, it's attached to the main camera now. And those are the serialized fields that I declared earlier. Alright, let's run it and see. Oh, before that, let me just save this. File, save as mini FPS. Okay, now let's run it and see. Run. There we go. So we should be able to move around with my arrow key. Look at that. I can move forward. Anywhere I turn, I can move. That is very good, guys. You see that? Let's come back. You see the sniper is coming back. Alright, that's good. Now, the next thing we want to do now is to go into Mizmo and get hold of some enemies. Then we write one or two lines of code for this gun itself. So I'm going to stop that and let's go in here. There we go. We're in Mizmo now. Let's grab hold of this Vanguard. Let's animate something. Look at the way it looks. It looks mean and unfriendly. So let's go into animation and look for something. Maybe he's carrying a weapon, or let's see, simulating walking with a weapon. No, let's see something else. I think I'm going to settle for this very one. Yeah, that looks like he's about to attack. So let's download that very one. Hit on download, and I'm going to, you see where we have format, I'm going to change that to Collider, and I leave the rest setting the way they are. Let's click on download. Okay, once that one finished downloading, I now want another one that will simulate where he falls and dies. There. So let's look for, that is the download done. Let's look for something else, or let's just type in dead. Let's see, I think I may have to settle for this very one. So click on that and change yours. Very good. Yeah, I'm going to download that. Download Collider as well with the texture, everything. So download. Okay, if you carefully look in here, you will see where that is firing and the next one is dead. So let's go into my folder. I can minimize this, I don't need it anymore, and I'll go straight into my download folder. Let's say window E to open that up. Download right here. There we go, that is it. Let's click on extract. Extract it all. And I'm going to repeat the same thing for the other one. Alright, that is fine. Close that. The next one, get it extracted as well. Extract. There we go. Now the two extracted folders there, 1 and 2. So I'm going to grab those and just dump it right in here. Those two folders, dump them here. And there we go. Now I have the two folders I'm going to be using. There they are. Okay, so let's click on the house so that I can see what I'm doing properly. So I'm now going to select the rifle, click on that, and that is the character right there. Select it. Once it's selected, the inspector opens up right here. So you now want to select rig, and you see where we have animation type. Click on that and select humanoid, then click on apply. There we go. Now the next thing is click on the animation, because you want the animation to continue. Remember, it was working, so it is gone. So click on that, and you need to click on apply as well. That is that taken care of. Okay, I might as well just enter my, or do the same thing for the next one before all of the other animation, because the animation for this is right here. That is it right there. Or we can just right click in here. I'm going to right click in here and create the animation right here. Let's come into create and let's select animation controller and just call that firing. There. Okay, double click on firing, and I'm going to click inside the firing range itself. Drag the animation, that is it right there, the triangle, drag, drop it here. So I've just created an animation of this now. So I can now close this one, go back into my asset. This is the dead. Okay, select the dead and change that to humanoid as well. Okay, we don't need this anymore. We'll finish with that. And that is, you see the dead one, change that to humanoid, click on apply, and let's come into anime. Because I only want it to just collapse once, so I'm not going to, you see where we have a loop, I'm going to make sure that it's unchecked and click on apply. Alright, and in here, right click, select create, and let's create animation controller, and call that dead. Yeah, double click on the dead symbol, and in here click on that. You see the animation, drag it and drop it right there. Okay, that takes care of that. You can collapse this now. Alright, close this. Okay, I'm now going to go back into my asset there. You see the firing rifle, double click on that. You now want this animation. Grab it and dump it right in here. That seems to be very huge. It's there anyway, so let's reduce the size to maybe 0.04, and let's see what's going to happen with that. We may have to reduce or increase it. Okay, that is it right there. That is the character there. That looks a little bit, let's see, maybe if I make that 0.1, that is huge. Okay, it's not going to do anything yet anyway, because I haven't added the, okay, let's just add the animation. That's the animation. Click, drag and drop it right in here. You see where we have control? That is the animation that I created. When I say the animation, this is it right there. Okay, so close that. So I'll just drag it and drop it right in there. I'm just going to run it. I want to see how huge and how it looks. So click on run. So I'm just going to wait and see what's going to happen. Should be very close to the properties here, to the buildings. Let's walk towards there. Where are you hiding? It is there somewhere. Okay, I'm going to look for the coordinate of where the gun is so that I can bring it nearer to the gun. Or select the main camera. The main camera is 37 4 36, so select it. So it's going to be 37 4 36. Okay, that's him. There he goes, you see. Okay, so we can always follow. Okay, so I'm going to leave just this very one there because I will convert it to prefab later on. So that's that taken care of. Now let's take care of the dead guy. So as for the dead guy, let's come in here. That's the dead one, this very folder. Now drag it and drop it right there. I'm going to change that to 0.1, 0.1 and 0.1. So what I expect it to do is to fall, to collapse and die. So I'm going to grab the animation, dump it right there. So I just need to see this one collapse and die. So run. Alright, that's it on the floor. That is him right there. Yeah, he's dead. Okay. Alright, that's fine. Okay, now that we know that this dead guy can fall and die, I'm now going to convert it to a prefab. So that's the dead guy there. Notice this is the original one. I'm going to drag the dead one, the one in there, and convert it to prefab. Drop it right there and click on original prefab. There we go. That is it. If you notice, the original prefab does not have any symbol on it, so that is fine. That is just for the dead guy. I can now delete the dead alien, delete it from the system. But the other alien with the rifle is right there. That is it there. Okay, the dangerous one. Now, but we need to add some lines of code for that. So let's come back into our assets, and this is where I have all my codes. I have right click and let's go to create, and in there let's say scripts. Yeah, so the very first one, I'm going to call it area secured. That is for the dead guy. Once we put the alien down, then we can secure the area. There, area secured. Double click on area secured, or just click on open. There we go. It's coming up now. So for the area secured, all we need to do in there is I'm going to first of all just create a game object, and that game object, I'll call it alien down. There we go, alien down. Now I'm going to create two functions. One of them is going to be called, this one is going to be called, let's say, invalid, and here I'm just going to enable to destroy the game objects. So here, the next one, let's say private void on mouse down. Yep, the mouse on mouse down. Okay, on mouse down, we want the system to instantiate this, should be uppercase, instantiate the following: alien down, comma, transform dot position, comma, transform dot rotation. Okay, so we just need to now say destroy game object, and that is all to that. So I'm just going to grab this, copy that, paste it right in here, destroy game object. Okay, let's make sure that is saved, and I'm going to open up the editor again, come right in here, and I will now select that is it, the enemy itself. I will now drag my secure area or area secure, drag it and dump it right in here. Now the variable that was created, alien down, so we now need to add who is the alien that is down. Double click on the dead one, that's the dead one. Make sure you select this enemy with the rifle. Now drag the one that was instantiated and just dump it right. The one that was converted to prefab, and dump it right there. That is it. Just dump it right there. So anytime we shoot on this, that will automatically replace it. Okay, that's fine. So we can now populate this if we want. Just go back in here. No, before that, let's convert it to a prefab as well. So I'm going to click inside this own folder, grab the firing and dump it there to convert it to a prefab. And that is it. It's now a prefab. We can then grab hold of it and just paste it anywhere we want to for the first person shooter to look for and get him down. Alright, that is it there. So if I run it now, let's see how that will look like. Though nothing is going to happen yet. We need to be able to see that it's now working around. For now, we cannot do anything about it. Run that again. I mistakenly paused it from there we go. Look at it. Okay, we can't do anything because we need some lines of code to actually fire at it. So for now, I'm going to call it the end of the second part of this tutorial, and I'll see you guys shortly.